Hello everyone, teacher here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be answering some of your questions and we're going to be taking a look at some resource management and just some general very good tips. So if you're ready, let's take a closer look. So let's jump into the questions. Again, I've compiled some here and I've looked at them, but I haven't thought about the answers. So let's get into it. First one, we know G9 is essential more or less for PvP, but for someone who doesn't care about climbing the arena, do you think it is worth it for the raids, or are our resources better spent on just building up some of our lower teams? How do you prioritize which teams to invest into? Love the vids, much love. Thank you very much. So, G9 for raids are quite critical if you are gonna be seriously raiding, because G9 is used for difficulty 4 in several chapters on several squads. We can talk about Heradrim in difficulty 4 in chapter 2, same with dwarves, elves in chapter 1. Overall, it is pretty vital for doing difficulty 4 in most circumstances. Now, there's some aspects of this. First off, with the arena, we will be getting multi-squad PvP at some point, so maybe that one team that also do really well in raids, again, Rivendell is worth it. Then if you are free to play or don't have a lot of resources, like very light spender, wait, I would say, for the time being, because we have seen like the gem chests where you can get a big ability material that is so crucial, like they do pop up from time to time. And if you save your gems instead of spending on gear 9, you can do that. You can also spend your gems on gear 9. I'm just looking out of where Bandit is. He's lurking around. And yeah, you can then make some gear 9 teams. It is costing, but yeah, that is it. And then the last part here, how do you prioritize which teams to invest into? I'm looking into stars, of course, uh, synergizes, and most crucially, how will they perform in raids? That's also why my Gondor Ranger team, I know I love talking about it, but I have that team had on my mind for a very long time due to the blog and like the way they were sold for chapter 3, and I have seen some potential there, so like they are why I invested into them. I haven't invested completely into them, but long live purple materials. And resources better spent building our lower teams. Get your teams to do 900k in the different chapters, like teams that will do well in chapter 1 also do well in chapter 3, and overall some of them also do well in chapter 2. And then chapter 4 is a little bit of a different story due to how it works. But yeah, that's definitely how I prioritize. And again, the very short point, gear 9 is pretty crucial for raids, especially in the long run. What are the glyphs you have on Heradrim? Well, mostly I run my Heradrim. I've just done chapter 2, so maybe they will have the glyphs that I normally use. Okay, let's start off with Tebeb here, because she doesn't have any glyphs on her. If it wanted to load. So on Tebeb, I have my Lembas from Elrond, because I want health. Like there are some health glyphs there. It allows me to do a turn 1 speed, which I think will also be good for multi-squad PvP on a defensive team maybe. And then I have Armor Piercer. You could also do Bloodlust. Bloodlust is the premier choice overall, but yeah, those are the ones that I swap over. Most of the time on my Wubete, I run Shield Wall with Last Stand. That is best for some of the chapters. You could also do a full Shield Wall, but again, it's also about prioritizing leveling up glyphs. So yeah, I do that. And then Tibet we did here. Yeftu, I do Withering. I like that. It's a personal choice. I do Withering on some of my Haradrim. It's a personal choice. I just like it a lot, and because it fits their synergy, not because it's the best choice. So do what you feel is right. Otherwise, I would say if I were to use glyphs that I could be using everywhere, so more optimal, I would probably do Last Stand with some with Bloodlust on him because of his damage, so especially for Chapter 3. And for Chapter 3 in general, last stand on Bloodlust as much as possible on most of them, and then maybe last stand, so that's basically how I would do there. That's also how I got 900k. There's a Chapter 3 coming later today. I'll try to see if I can replicate it and get it recorded. Same here. A lot of focus is actually what I prioritize if we are looking at stats. But again, yeah, like Bekelu, for instance, for Chapter 3, all Bloodlust, because she's so fast, she has multi-prong attack, so even the Unbreakable, she can actually get through it quite easily, so that's a good thing. Robel is the same. She's pretty fast. She has a good AOE with turn meter, and she does good damage. And yeah, overall, so also Chapter 3 full Bloodlust. But otherwise than that, I would do I would do Withering and Armor Piercer or Bloodlust. Again, that's just my personal choice. Um, so yeah, that's the glyph I use. But if I were to do more streamlined, probably I would just go last stand with Bloodlust on it. So, but of course, Tibeb, I would go Lembas. Also, just because for the time being, the Lembas glyphs with all the health they give is pretty nice. Why Lomian over Legolas on your elves? By the way, how are you doing on Arena? Well, that's actually a very good, easy question. When Legolas was revealed or released, I was actually free to play that month, so I just got him at 3-star. I had planned to do him and Gimli at 5, but due to some ERL stuff, money wasn't there to spend. That's important. Remember, if you do spend on this game, um, if something prohibits you from spending, then don't spend. Easy as that. Instead of spending and being prohibited at the same time, that's only gonna cost you trouble. And also, I thought Lomian would be a little bit better than he actually was, but yeah. So, if I could redo it, these three and these two is what I would do for unlocking Elrond. Over here, Elladan, Arwen, Neremerit, Legolas. And how I'm doing in Arena, I am shifting between Gold 1 and Mithril 2. It's probably gonna be a Gold 1 today. And at the moment, I'm just using this because I don't have any other beefier that I can really use. And I like Halberd chat, so it's okay. I It's nothing too serious. Are you doing Biffer over Bilbo? Yes, I am. Actually, yes, I am. And the reason why I'm doing that is because Biffer is gonna be able to be higher star rank, thus having more health. Let's just set him to what I can actually get done within a reasonable amount of time. We're gonna do this. I could probably go gear 9, but let's just, for argument's sake, take the free to play and say gear 8. Now, he will get 20% max health from Thorin Leadership for me, and with lives and everything, so he's probably gonna go to 30k, and that's 3000 for 10% heal, so if he gets a little bit more, maybe he's gonna end up around 40k health, which is pretty nice. Leadership, don't need that. Basic, actually pretty nice for Thorin's assist mechanics, so he can dispel a boon. He has slow and blind, that's pretty nice on the cave troll. And slow on the Balrog. Cleanses 2 Banes and grant 2 stacks of defensive to self and the ally with most health. Grant 2 stacks of provoke. It's pretty okay, have to be careful using this, I feel. When all squad members get hit by the same attack, grant 1 stack of defensive to those squad members. This, I think, should be really good for a chapter 3 in difficulty 4 especially, because defensive really generates a lot of points for you, cleansing, taking your turns and not dying, so that's pretty nice. If we go ahead to Thorn's Company, Bilbo Baggins, and since I only have him at 3-star, let's do it like this. Yeah, he's gonna get creamed. I could buy the pack to get him to 4-star. Let's take a look at that. But still, this is so little, like, it's not worth it. He's super squishy as well, so yes, here he can dispel 2 boons, pretty nice. And he's very fast, transfer 2 Banes from self to the enemy target. That's also pretty nice, and he can inflict disable, but I need higher focus. Steal 3 boons from target enemy, excluding taunt and provoke, and grant them to the most wounded squad member. Blind, stealth, pretty nice as well. When attacked, gain 25% turn meter. If the stamina has a boon, gain 1 stamina for expert treasure hunter. So his kit is very nice. Also, the fact that he's so speedy is insane. But overall, for me, for what I need here and now, Biffer will help me with difficulty 3 due to cleanse, provoke, mechanics, and slow and grand defensive. So, and yeah, wow, that was a lot of and so. It basically is because I want to chase mythical currency in chapter 3 and chapter 2 and chapter 1. So it is okay there, and Bilbo with this health is simply not enough, especially for chapter 1 if I have to use him there. Um, so that's basically how it is. What's your top 5 teams? That's a pretty good one. Rivendell, Haradrim, Dwarves in the Making, Road to Rivendell. So that's 3. Then we have our Gondor Ranger. So that's 4. And my last one. Did I say Road to Rivendell? Rivendell, Haradrim, Dwarves in the Making, Gondor Ranger. Wow, whoa, brain is freezing right now. Okay, we're gonna do this the very simple way. Rivendell, Gondor Ranger, Haradrim, Dwarves in the Making with Rohan mix in there for the time being, and Road to Rivendell. There we go. That's my 5 teams, and that's because I feel they are the most flexible in the raids, and also I think they would be good for multi-squad PvP, but that's not what I'm planning for. I'm only planning for raids. If I were to say anything else, I would say Rohan Free is a very solid option in there, and you can plug and play them with many different things, so do consider that. Dol Guldur might be a top team when I get my hands on them, mostly because I got them to 5-star all of them. So yeah, that's probably a thing. And that's also where I'm gonna have my probably 6 squad. I'm probably gonna make my 6 squad goblins, or at least goblins well enough to be able to get a Thorn 7-star when that time comes. But otherwise, I really want to invest into Dol Guldur. I actually thought of this yesterday when I was like, okay, what I'm gonna use all my Shadow Crystals on? Well, I do have that squad, so that's basically what I'm doing there. Would you farm Biffer or Boromir in the guild shop? I don't have Thorn, but I was thinking I could build my dwarves up to do well now, and even better when he was back with Biffer, Fili, Kili, Gimli, Ball and Fro. So those are, I would assume these 3 are like his situationals. And because you have to add Thorin in there, so that means you have 4 and then one last squad. I would actually remove Fro because Fro doesn't suit with anyone right now, doesn't have a tag. Balin and Gimli, very good choice. I thought they would do well in more chapters than Gondor. Are Gondor only good in chapter 3? I haven't seen them do well in chapter 4 or 2, and in 1, Keely has more reliable assist than Faramir, I thought. Very good question and very good points. For me, if I were starting up and I hadn't started any of the squads, I would go for Biffer probably, and go for the dwarves. Also because you get the Feely shards. Gondor are gonna be good in chapter 1, I personally feel, but you would have to say at least the 3 Gondors, the Marquis, probably Herondale in theirs as well. That would also help you a lot in chapter 3, so you have that extra 10% block chance. Chapter 2, don't have too many ways of doing Bane, so you wouldn't really go higher than a than a difficulty 3 on the Cave Troll. But then again, difficulty 3 is no small feat. I know that. So Gondor is okay, but overall, for all 4 chapters, dwarves will be better. And remember, you have to build your goblins. So dwarves overall will net you higher score than Gondor. Gondor, however, excels in chapter 3, and they should also be able to do a Chapter 1 difficulty for if fully maxed, but that's just a gut feeling. So, you guys are definitely valuing vitality way more than I am. How often are you actually getting regeneration stacks? So this is from my good glyphs guys with swag on Rohan. I like vitality. Let's go into one of those where I can sometimes see and feel the vitality, and that is this man right here. Gain 1 stack of regeneration for 2 turns. Also, Elrond can give it, and I have him with vitality, so we're gonna swap back to him in just a moment. Where is it? Just here. Yeah, grant 1 stack of regeneration. So that's pretty nice. So you could actually get your Eladin up to a whole bunch of stacks. And that is something that you can feel like on a tank that has some weight, like 3 stacks, that's 15%. That 7-star and a lot of health, then you can start feeling it. Like 10% is 4,000, so this is 6,000 that he gains. And then if you do have it and you do something like this, Boromir also have a way of gaining regen stacks over in Gondor squad due to the way Gondor works there. You can also go above 3 stacks, I believe. So then we're talking like 20% heal. That's something you can feel. Other than that, it's not something that is the most. I like them, but again, overall, if you look at usable everywhere, Last Stand is the way to go. However, I do like it because sometimes it does help. Also here for dwarves, maybe something could be used there. Not saying you should, just saying yeah, might be. So, due to the block. Would be interesting to hear your thoughts on Isengard and dwarves. So Isengard, very good beginner team for Shadow. It can help you in chapter 1. A very well high build Isengard can score the 900k. I've never seen an Isengard do 1.5 because of how much damage the Mangler does, so I don't think they can actually survive and regen through it, but you can get a 900k there. Oglok, there's something in chapter 4 where you can do Oglok solo for 100k, so he has viability there. Chapter 3 they don't really shine in. Chapter 2 they can score you a high amount of points. There's bleed, there's a lot of banes, so yeah, they give you very good there. So a nice early game team, especially free to play to invest into, because Haradrim are way down the line due to where Robel is located. So there is that, and Tebeb is in the challenge store. Dwarves, basically a little bit similar, like they're mid to end game team. It is easier with Biffer in the guild shop, so you can get one there. And you could also, actually, let's just open up where dwarves are located. Balin, you can now farm him, so this is actually really good. Gimli, you can also farm him early, so there's 3 early game farms that you can get your hands onto, so that's pretty nice. And these 3 work well basically many different places, so yeah, they are mid to mid game team, but that shouldn't take more than some days, based if you really power farm. I would say they are when you have to reach that point where you start pivoting, like around level 40 to 50, they could be a good team to swap over into to build for the future alongside Rivendell. But then again, there's also Road to Rivendell, but that's a different talk. So, last one. There's a question about Lembas. There's a heated debate in the guild. Does the stamina boost only work once in a raid battle? Is there only one wave, or can it trigger at the beginning of each new round? Lembas in raid is only initial. It isn't multiple waves, it's just one endless big wave. Doesn't change. So there comes new sets of orcs out, but it isn't actually new waves, so you can't get that proc there. So yeah, that was it for the questions. Now, very quickly, I want to round off with some tips, what I feel you should be doing. One tip, when you plan for your squads, that is something that I'm doing. I use LoRT.gg almost daily, sometimes several times a day. to go in here, double check things, have a look at some stats. Like you can see many good stats, you can see ability effects. Overall, there's many good things. Groho the Brute, see here, damage, health, Bomber, beats out everyone, tanky boy. This is actually pretty interesting. This is where we can see new characters coming out, higher damage, higher health, higher all stats than Halbarad, who was the beefiest boy in town. So I would definitely suggest you use that site to check your teams, also to plan ahead. You can also, especially the most vital part, and something that I feel you should be doing, you can go in here, look at the gear list, and you can be more specific, look at gear, so you can actually plan ahead. Do this for your squads. I do it a lot of the time. Also, when I want to invest into a new team, I have to go look, say, okay, if next month I'm thinking about investing into a team like Dwarfs, when they announced Thorn, I was like, do I want to go for it? And then I had to go check abilities, because if it had been candles all over the place and turkeys, I probably just would have skipped it there. Because, yeah, so many light side characters need that. But it isn't. It's crest and opals and some chalk, so that's pretty good. Next thing I want to talk about is actually this different kind of supplies. Make sure you buy the essences every single day. I buy my blue light crystals as well. I buy turquoise every time in here. I buy some green stuff. Bloodlust Lembus I buy in here. Armor Piercer sometimes as well. Last Stand. It's a very good way because you will have some gold to spend, so it's a good way to get glyphs there, especially considering the energy you might have to farm them with and then level them up. Here you get them at a discounted price, so do that. Also why I don't think you should be farming glyphs. Maybe in the beginning until you have some sets, but after that, don't spend energy on it, is my opinion. Supply store here, make sure you buy at X10. I know I've said this in several videos, but I want to state it again. It will help you in the long run, especially free to play that doesn't do guild refreshes. It will help you in the long run. Challenge store. A lot have been said about challenge store, and we don't need to talk about it. Honestly, if you were to spend on anything, I would say maybe these unique Gear 9, but I would recommend go for some characters. Mightspep is almost gonna be done soon, but that is also because I'm gonna be taking the offer of 200 to 300. Otherwise, I would still have some months left, and then I'm gonna swap over to Halbarad just because I want to finish him, and that's why I want to finish them. Yes, the story isn't perfect. You could hoard until almost max and then only buy like that. 5 or 10 shards doesn't matter, it's the same price, 300 per shard. So, but the reason why I want to do this is because don't expect these characters to be moved out of here. So you might as well start building up your squad. Get your units done. Get 7 stars on them. Not necessarily level them up and use the gold on it, but have them available, because we never know when a character could be used for something. Arena, always buy the character XP. So for me, I'm buying Golbert, sometimes Shagrath. Down here, sometimes I buy Luminous Crystals. But other than that, something that I feel you should be doing is you should be focusing on damage and focus essence. This one you get from Nuraz if you farm him, pretty good plug and play. This one you get from Groho the Brute, who's farmable. And health, I don't remember where we get that. But yeah, you can also buy that, and they pop up in store, every one of them. But focus is probably the one that's worst to go and farm, because it isn't on a character node, so you don't want to be doing that. That way it's better to do your resource management and use 12 here for that. So that was it for me today, everyone. I'm gonna chill a little bit before I'm gonna do chapter 3 and see how it goes there. Thank you so much for the questions. Always keep asking me, and I'm also gonna do one final question that I know some people sometimes wonder about. Am I gonna have a Discord? No, I'm not. And the reason why I'm not gonna have a Discord is because I'm an officer in a guild. I answer questions there. I answer DM questions on Discord. Have a life outside of this, full-time job as a teacher, no surprise. and I'm not that tech savvy with Discord, so I wouldn't have the time to probably engage with everyone in a Discord, answering questions, looking at it. So I'd rather just focus my time on the guild Discord that I'm in, and then also the official Discord where I answer questions, interact with stuff, and yeah. But always can ask questions here, can DM me on Discord. Um, Sometimes there's a delay in my answer, but yeah, that's how it is. So thank you so much for the questions, everyone, and let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and have a very good day.